The other night I was out here jacking around and for some reason I started playing with the fuel bowl mixture level. I don't know why I did it, but I jacked with it so much that I backed the screw out of the thing and then it was like a gas waterfall coming out of there. I took the carburetor off. I looked at it, I realized that I'd backed the adjustment screw all the way out of the sleeve and it wasn't doing anything. So once I got it back in there, I looked at the float bowl level. I was able to figure out what exactly was going on. Got it back on. I think I got it where it needs to be. It's dead level. I would assume it probably needs to be a little above level because with the carb cheater it needs to run a little rich so it can bring it back down, but we're gonna see what it'll do. One thing I need to do is adjust the this camera's heavy. One thing I'm too hand holding right now. One thing I need to do is adjust the air fuel ratio, which I have not messed with since we put the carburetor on it. I mean, I don't know anything about a carburetor. My dad's a hell of a mechanic, but he don't really know nothing about a carburetor either. So I don't know what I'm rambling about. Anyway, I f***ed up the float bowl, but I fixed it. So you didn't see me do it, but I did it. But I just wanted you to know that I did that. So I need to get everything off of here so we can take it down the road and get this thing warmed up. Now, I don't think it's possible to actually have a perfectly organized shop. I did watch one video of this guy that he knew exactly where everything was. He had everything perfectly organized, and I think somebody might want to call the FBI on that guy because I think to be able to operate that way, you might be a complete, total, and utter psychopath. Because I've tried, Lord knows I've tried to organize this shop. Every time, I mean, I'll get it kind of organized sometimes, and then every time I start a new project, crap I mean, don't judge, but yeah, that's pretty bad. It was pretty clean in here. You wouldn't know it. You might not believe me, but it was pretty clean. Then I start doing things like draining the water out of my air compressor that I've not done in 10 years, and they tell you should do, or the thing will explode. You should have seen. I mean, it was so clogged. The drain plug wouldn't let the water come out. I had to take the big plug out of the bottom, and then shit just like a sewage drain out of that thing. So if I die from that, you know why. Anyway, take this thing down the road. Let's get it warmed up. All right, y'all ready to totally screw this truck up and probably have it never run right again? Let's crank it up. I'm going to have to voice over this part because my lav mic situation hasn't really panned out and you won't be able to hear me talk over the sound of the truck, so. Yeah, right here I'm wondering why my AFR is staying at exactly 10. I'm going to turn on the auto tune and see if it raises the idle like it has been. I don't really understand why it raises the idle up to 1100. I'd had a problem with it raising the idle to 1100, and then when you turn auto tune off, the truck doesn't go back to its regular idle. I don't know why it's doing that, but it's just me checking to see if it's still doing it. We're back down this time. I don't know. It usually happens going down the road, auto tune on, and then when I come back, when I turn the auto tune off, when I go to an idle, it doesn't want to idle down. So I was going to start from where it was and try to get it adjusted, but I decided to just go ahead with the stock all the way in, 1.5 out, which I'm pretty sure we did when we rebuilt this carburetor, but I don't know if it's been messed with, so I decided to just go all the way in, 1.5 out, start from there. Probably heard that, or you can probably see it, the idle's pretty low, so I'm going to start by getting it up to where it needs to be, around 800. This part I'm not going to edit. I'm just going to let it run long form. So if you don't want to see every little piece of this, you know, feel free to fast forward. But if you want to watch how it goes and see how it reacts to every little screw turn, and when I eventually get it to where it needs to be, you can see what it does as I'm giving it gas, taking it down the road and things like that. I got it up to the idle I wanted, and AFR is still staying at exactly 10, which seems weird. So now it's just a long process of quarter turn at a time on each side. So this is going to take a minute. Like I said, if you don't want to watch me do it like this, then feel free to fast forward. But for those who want to see the carb cheater work and, you know, be able to see the feedback that it's giving on the screen, I'm just going to leave it long form. I'm not going to edit it. Taking the idle back down. Once the AFR started actually showing 10.3, 10.11, I felt a lot better. I was beginning to think that something wasn't right. Yeah, so I was making the comment of, it seemed like I was running out of room for for my adjustment, it almost felt like they were all the way back in. I was a little worried that I wouldn't be able to get it within range with enough screw left. And I don't know what it being that far in tells me, but I'd be curious if anyone out there knows. We got a lot of good comments about, hey, you need to do this, hey, you need to do that. So if you're watching and you know why my adjustment screws are almost all the way in to get it within acceptable AFR, appreciate the feedback. Starting to get real excited here now that it's yellow. And as you probably already know, if you're watching this and you don't know, from what I read, from what I watched, you want to keep adjusting it until your vacuum, which is the INHG number there, goes down.
Seeing it sit here in idle for that AFR at 11.3, pretty exciting. I know it's not where it needs to be. I hope a few more turns and get where it needs to be, but for it not to be, for it to be sitting here idling, I tell you, just to have it at 11.3.
Yeah, as you can see, I was excited. Also a little worried that I was going to run out of adjustment. Oh, there it is. We got green. Going back just a hair because I seen it go up to 15. Yep, just giving my work a little stare. Watching the gauge. Just watching the gauge to see if it maybe goes to yellow again, and I need to bring it back down a little bit.
That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. I'd have never been able to do that otherwise.
Not sure what that adjustment was. I think maybe I brought it back up an eighth of a turn instead of a quarter. Really wanted to see that 14, you know.
So what I've read, what I'm assuming 14.1 is where you want to be. 14.1 is pretty perfect. Assuming what I read was right. I mean, we're there. I just want to turn it on and see what how everything goes. an auto tune doesn't raise the idle right
Turn the
there.
auto tune on, see if it raises the idle again. It did not this time. Not quite sure why it's running 40, 50% when everything seems to be where it needs to be, and why it would make the AFR get leaner.
It's not. I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be making it bounce down that much, but it raised the idle. Definitely sounds a lot better. Before that, the percentage on the, you can see that, before the percentage on the, before the percentage on the auto tune was 100%. Just while making one go 100%. So I never would have thought, but with this stroke, with this carburetor, I don't know if it's supposed to be like that, but I'm almost all the way back in. I know this is supposed to go out 1.5, all the way in, they come back out 1.5, and it cuts it in. I don't know if it's okay to be that close to all the way back in, but it's working. That's much better off the auto tune than without it. Doubt you'll even be able to see me on the GoPro. It's kind of dark, but
I put it in gear and it went way lean. It's just me kind of trying to take that that in. Look a little dumbfounded here for a second. Staring at the screen, figuring out what I'm gonna do.
All right, well, we're running really rich once you go into gear. I didn't think about how it
I didn't
drops
think
down
about how the
once you put it in
RPM drops
gear.
once you put it in gear.
I was past the- Guess we can do, see if auto tune will adjust that. I don't think so because you can't do anything with
Auto
rich.
2 can't do anything with a lean condition is what I meant to say. I don't know why I keep calling, you'll see it again later in the video, but I call or it being lean rich.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and put it.
I'm gonna make it a little richer. That way the carb cheater can adjust it. Hopefully it won't be lean. So FYI, the reason that I'm doing all this is because carb cheater can make your vehicle run leaner, but it can't make it run richer. So from what I've seen, you want to err on the side of being rich. That way carb cheater can adjust. Carb cheater can't bring you back down from a lean condition, but it can. But if you're running rich, it can add vacuum and turn your rich condition into the proper AFR.
We call it good. Let's just put it in here and see what it does. Yeah. Oh, let's turn the auto tune on. not that far off.
I was wondering why the carb cheater was working at 100% when everything seems to be within spec. Again, not really sure what I was doing here. I think I'm going out with it. Then a little bit, numbers went up, so I went in with it, I guess. Made it a little leaner.
Now, if putting it in gear doesn't drop it or make it go way too, then we'll be good. Oh yeah. I think that's perfect. Now we're good. Let's take it down the road and see what it does. Right. Tint in this thing is so dark, you can't see anything. Does this help? Is that better? I feel like my parents. I can't see. I'm gonna die. Yes, I'm in lots of racket. It's running way rich right now. Maybe it's just because we're going down the hill.
Lean, dummy. Lean.
Or way lean, I meant. Come on, cars. Turn this off real quick. Damn, where's everybody coming from? Alright, we're running pretty lean. Well, not pretty lean. We're running lean right now. But I'm hoping that's because my hill's pretty steep. I'm hoping we got some. Alright, let's see. So the AFR without auto tune on, I mean, I know that was just an idle adjustment, but
assuming that it does something to the cruising, because I never got off at 10 before. It's looking way better. Way better. Miles an hour. Everything looks pretty nice. I don't know what that tells me, but it's good to know. I don't know why it would go so lean gassing on it. I don't know. That's just the next thing I have to look up. How to stop it from going lean. I'll look at it. I'm supposed to be dropping that much vacuum.
Look, I told you I'm an idiot. I don't know anything about a carburetor. But I now know, after a little research, that you're supposed to drop vacuum under acceleration.
I'm just ecstatic. I'm just ecstatic that I've got that much green and no auto tune on, because before my AFR was, I mean, you've seen it when I played it just a little bit, it was all tuned. To a car show the other day, and the auto tune, it actually helped, but it stayed at, I lose so much vacuum. This means maybe I got a leak. Sure sounds like I got a leak, I'll tell you that.
I think that's just carb cheater.
Anyway. Got the idle working good.
But it does sound like there's a little bit of a whooshing coming from like top of the carburetor. I don't know if that's normal. Thing stumbles on me bad right here. This has always been a major problem with it.
What the AFR goes.
See, it almost died.
Oh, come on now, hold up. Didn't want to go. Oh. I think there's going on. I think there's something going on with the
Did it again?
fuel pickup or something. Because once this thing goes past half a tank of gas, it starts acting.
Yeah, so I don't know if you heard me, but after a half a tank of gas, around about a little less than half a tank of gas, it starts doing that thing where after you can take it down the road, come to a stop, it wants to stumble if you don't give it a lot of gas. I don't know what that means, if anybody's ever had that problem before. But full tank of gas, it doesn't do it. Less than a half a tank, it'll start stumbling once you go to take off. And you have to give it a pretty good bit of gas to get it to go, or it'll want to die.
there you go. The carb cheater works. A dummy like me was able to take a poorly idling, poorly air mixtured truck and get it to where it needed to be. So the fact that it was just sitting at 10 and it wouldn't ever come off of it, I was like, man, this thing is broke or wrong or something. And to be able to see it go to yellow, you know, in the 11s and 12s, and then eventually make it to the green and stay there was pretty exciting. I felt like, I was like, look at me, I'm a carburetor tuner. But it's designed for people who don't know what they're doing to be able to do it. So for me, it works. For me, I think it's worth it. And I appreciate the guys that made it. And here's to getting bought out by Holly.